Today's lesson is solving one-step equations. This is chapter 2, section 1. Your objective here is to be able to solve a one-step equation that uses one variable. This is something that you've done already, so we're going to go through it pretty quickly. To solve an equation, you must isolate the variable, and basically what isolating means is getting your variable with a coefficient of 1. So remember, the coefficient is the number that's in front of the variable, like the x or the y. So if it's 2y, the coefficient is 2. Your goal is to get that coefficient down to 1. Okay? The way that we do this is by either using properties of equality or inverse operations. Remember, an inverse operation undoes another operation. And so the example they give you is that subtraction is the inverse of addition. Addition would be the inverse of subtraction. Multiplication is the inverse of division. And division is the inverse of multiplication. So we're going to start off with an example. Like I said, I believe that you all know how to do this already. You guys have done this for a while. Okay. So bear with me. I'm trying to use this little notepad, and sometimes it doesn't work that well. So we're going to give it a shot. So to undo this, the opposite of adding 13 would be to obviously subtract 13. So that's our inverse, right? Let me get this back on full screen. Okay, so we're going to subtract 13. My writing's bad on this. Sorry, bear with me. Okay, now when you do this, what you're doing is you're performing the inverse of adding 13. So when you add 13 and then you do the inverse, which is subtracting 13, you basically get 0 right there. It's x plus 0. And so it cancels each other out. So now we're just left with x on that side. And on this side, we are left with whatever 27 minus 13 is, which is 14. Okay? Let's try another one. What's the solution to negative 7 equals b minus 3? So again, the solution is we're trying to get b all by itself. So the inverse of subtracting 3 is adding 3. And if we do that to both sides, remember we have to do it to both sides. Think of this, you remember like a little teeter-totter from elementary school? This is my grade drawing, where you sit here, one person sits here. The point of this is we want this to become level. We want it to be even. And so any force you put on one side, you have to put force on the other side, or whatever weight you put on one side, you have to put the same weight on the other side to stay level. If not, it's not equal on both sides. Same thing here. The equal sign is the fulcrum right here, and it's the middle point. And so anything you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So this cancels. Negative 7 plus 3 gives us negative 4 equals b. Okay. What is the solution to these two? So again, I'm going to do this real quick. The inverse of subtracting 8 is adding 8. So we have to do it to both sides. This cancels. You're left with m equals negative 14 plus 8, which is negative 6. Over here, we have some fractions. Don't let those scare you. So we're going to add 3 over 2. And over here, we're going to add 3 over 2. 1 half plus 3 halves is 4 halves. 4 halves is 2. Y equals 2. Okay. Now, remember the inverse of multiplication is division, and vice versa. So, right now we have 4 times x, so the inverse would be divide by 4. So if we take 4 times x divided by 4, those cancel. And then 6.4 divided by 4 gives us 1.6. And we're going to skip over these. And we're going to go to a division one. If you feel like you need a little bit more practice, go ahead and try. Pause the video right now if you want to try it on your own. If you're coming back from pausing the video now, what you should have gotten on this side is x equals 2/3. And on this side, you should have gotten z equals -4.37. Five. What is the solution for this? So now we're dividing. So the inverse of that is multiplying. So I'm going to multiply by 4 over 1. Because right now this is 1x over 4. So I have to also multiply this side by 4 over 1. So what happens is if you remember, you can cancel these. So now you're left with x times 1 is x. 1 times 1 is 1. X over 1 is x. Equals -9 times 4 is -36. -36 over 1 is just -36. Now this one, it says check your answer. So how do we check our answer? We're going to do it on this one. So we multiply by 3 over 1. Multiply over here by 3 over 1. These 3's cancel. We're left with r equals whatever 19 times 3 is, which is 57. Now, how do you check your answer? Checking your answer is plugging it back in. So we're going to set this up as 19. Oh, that was bad. 19 equals, instead of r, I'm going to put in the 57 and divide it by 3. 57 divided by 3 is 19. So 19 equals 19. So if it comes out to be the same, you did it correctly. So that is checking your answer. And that is the gist of this section. Again, I know it's something that you're very comfortable with. You did quite a bit last year, and so we're not going to spend too much time on it. If you have any questions on this video, please feel free to write it down, and then when we get into class, you can ask questions. And also, don't forget to upload your notes. If you have any issues with it, don't worry. We can go over it in class.